Welcome back to The Faith Life. Thank you for tuning in and supporting the videos. It's great to have you back. This is the start of a new mini-series which I'm quite excited about. We're going to be looking at the Bible in this mini-series, and it's going to be broken up into 3 videos. This first one is going to be looking at what is this Bible thing. The second video is going to be, is it credible? And the third is going to be, why do Christians use the Bible? And hopefully, by linking all those 3 together, we can then see why it's a good thing for us to be looking at and reading, and why I've been using it in other videos. So hopefully you'll find this as a clarity point. If you already know what the Bible is and you already look at it, then don't worry, there should hopefully be some more or new information that you haven't heard before, especially when we get to the credibility part of the mini-series. If you haven't looked at the Bible before and you have watched some of my other videos and noticed that I have referenced the Bible, then this will hopefully clarify why that's the case. But also, you know, it'd just be interesting to know what the Bible is, and for those that may be a bit skeptical about the Bible, to actually see how credible it is or isn't. Let's not have any spoilers yet. So today we're going to be looking at what is this Bible thing. So got my Bible with me, which I have featured before. Black NIV, Standard Bible. We're not going to go into different translations because that is not what this video is about. So firstly, I want us to think, is it just a book? I mean, it looks like it's just a book to me. You know, it's got a cover, front, back, pages. So, is it just a book? Well, actually, if we turn to the contents page, bear with me whilst I find it. Here we go. Turn to the contents page and look at what we see here. The books of the Old Testament, the books of the New Testament, and there are quite a lot. So what this actually shows us is, yes, it's a book, but actually it's got 66 different books in this one book. So it is a book, but actually really it's a collection of 66 different books. And these 66 different books were written by over 40 different authors. 40 different authors, and that spanned over 1,500 years. So from the first book of the Bible to the last book of the Bible, there was over 1,500 years, plus over 40 different authors. So these books are written in very different styles, as you can imagine, with 40 different authors. There are books that are very factual. There are books that are biographies, there are books that are songs, and there are books that are poetry. So very, very different styles. The Bible spans such a big period of time, and yet it manages to paint a really coherent and clear picture of who God is, and also his great plans for you and for me. Now we might be sitting there thinking, well, how's that possible? How is this collection of books that's written over such a long period of time by so many different people, how does it manage to be clear, concise, and coherent? Now, if you think, if we managed to gather together around 40 different authors from today, and we said, write a book spanning the past 50 years of history, and yeah, put it into a book and let's see what it looks like. Can probably guarantee that it's gonna involve a lot of arguing. Different people will see different values in different parts of history, and to actually have a to B that was very clear wouldn't happen. And do you know what? That's the interesting thing about the Bible is this collection of 66 books written by over 40 different people, in normal terms, would never ever be able to paint even one thread that ran from the beginning to the end. And so One of the reasons why the Bible works so well as being written by different people is because Christians believe that it is God's word, so it's God breathed effectively, which means that the people that wrote the Bible, the different books in the Bible, were anointed by God, and he spoke through them, which was then collected into what the Bible is. So Christians believe that the Bible is the account of God's action in the world and also his purpose with all creation, and that does include you and me. So it contains the message that God has for us, and the Bible is God's, as I said, the Bible is God's word, and it speaks into our lives. Now the Bible has in it some really great stories and accounts, and just to name a few that even if you haven't read the Bible you might have heard of, we've got Daniel in the lion's den, Noah and his ark, Moses freeing the Israelites from Egypt, the classic of Jonah in the giant fish. These are all, what's great about these is they're all ordinary people, and yet God calls them to do extraordinary things. And that is something that is still possible today for me or for you. We are ordinary people, but God could call us to do extraordinary things. Now, the Bible is also used as a refuge in troubled times. You know, if we're going through periods of difficulty, we only have to think back to some of the other videos like exam stress and stress over what to do next, and how I turned us to the Bible, because actually it's a really good resource for when we're feeling in a tricky position. The Bible also gives us an insight into how God sees us. And I really want you to take this on board, and we will come back to it at another point. But God sees each of us as dearly loved children. And that's pretty incredible. So hold on to that, and we will come back to that at another point. Now, that's not to say that the Bible is all easygoing. It is definitely a challenging read, and it's a challenging thing to try and live by in our lives. But it also gives us an incredible insight into who God is, as well as his love for all creation. And again, that includes you and me. So that's kind of a really brief rundown of what the Bible is. You might be sitting there thinking, okay, yeah, I get what it is, but I'm skeptical. I'm not really sure. You know, you said it's God's word and things like that, but actually, how do we even know that there's any historical backing to any of the events that happened in the Bible? So I'm really glad that if you've got that sort of question in your head right now, I want you to stick with that, because in the next part of this mini-series, we're going to actually be looking at, is the Bible credible? Is there any historical evidence or any other grounding to say, okay, yeah, that happened there, these things happened, that person actually existed? So that's what we're going to be looking at in the next video. Is we're going to just pick out some parts of the Bible and say, okay, where's the credibility there? Where's the credibility there? Where's the credibility there? And hopefully, if we can see that, okay, yeah, that lines up, that lines up, that lines up, then we can then maybe go away and think, okay, maybe this other bit lines up. But again, the next video is a mini series, so it's not going to be a really long video. So we won't be able to go into the whole Bible and pick out everything that's credible. We're just going to pick out some key points and yeah, show whether it's credible or not. So I hope you've enjoyed this video and you're feeling a little bit more enlightened about the Bible and what it is. And I hope you're looking forward to the next video. I know I definitely am, where we're going to be looking at the credibility of the Bible. So thank you very much for tuning in and watching The Faith Life. And until our next video, bye-bye.